Hello. Okay, The Flash. I was lucky enough to catch an advance screening of this last Saturday the 3rd in London. I'm an Empire VIP Club member, so I got an invite on the Wednesday and I just had to try and grab tickets to catch this advance showing of one of my anticipated movies of the year, and one that has my Batman in it, Michael Keaton. So yeah, great experience. It was also great to watch the 89 Batman on the big screen for the first time, as I missed out on that, being born in 88. So yeah, the movie doesn't come out here in the UK until the 14th next week. The version that I watched on Saturday is the same version that was shown at CinemaCon over in America, so it's not the final product. There were a couple of surprises that they wanted to keep secret until its worldwide release next week. What did I think of The Flash? I'm going to start with Ezra Miller as Barry Allen, The Flash. I really like Ezra Miller as this character. I feel they bring this quirkiness and vulnerability to the character, and yeah, I just really like how they've brought this character to life. You know, I can't help but just get emotionally invested into the character, and I think Ezra Miller does a good job at conveying the vulnerability and the pain that this character is going through in this story. And then you've got Michael Keaton, my Batman, returning. It was great to see, you know, Michael Keaton return as this character, and I just feel how they introduced him into the story wasn't heavy-handed. It felt right, and it was just, yeah, I just liked how his character was introduced. I think they did a good job at doing that. And along with Michael Keaton comes a lot of nostalgia, and I was a little bit concerned about the nostalgia aspect of this movie, because I feel a story can rely too much on nostalgia, but yeah, it works. With The Flash, it works. The introduction to Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman within the story, just doesn't feel heavy-handed. It doesn't feel forced. It feels right. I think they were quite smart, in fact, when it comes to the writing of the movie. I felt like it was quite smart in how they introduced him into this story, and I really like it. So for me, The Flash is a good example of how to do nostalgia correctly and not just bring these characters in for the sake of bringing them in. It serves the story, and yeah, I had a big grin on my face when we first see Michael Keaton return, and just the way they did it I just thought was really clever. Now, staying with Michael Keaton for a moment, what I will say is there is a moment with this character for me personally that I didn't think worked. It's a moment within the 3rd act, and yeah, it just didn't quite work for me, and it just didn't feel earned. It's not a major gripe from me, but it did kind of leave me going, oh, I don't know. And I'll be honest here, there were a couple of moments, more so in the 3rd act, when it comes to certain characters' decisions and motivations, that just didn't feel earned, and left me wondering or thinking, have I missed something here? Have I missed a certain character moment here? Because there were some decisions and motivations that these characters would make or do, and it just kind of felt out of place. And it's more so in the 3rd act, and I think it's because they do sacrifice a lot of these character moments for action. There's a lot of action in this film. It's fun, it's exhilarating. I really enjoyed the action, but more so in the 3rd act, and I feel like the 3rd act does get quite chaotic. I feel like they sacrificed a lot of these character moments, because I was sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, have I missed something? Because this person has gone from 0 to 10, and I've not seen that kind of journey from 0 to 10. So yeah, there were a lot of moments when it comes to characters and the decisions and motivations that for me just didn't quite feel earned, and maybe a lot of it just sort of ended up on the cutting room floor. But for me, I kind of really needed that, and as much as I loved the action, I mean, the action is just like, it is thrilling. It's great. I was grinning. It's fast. It's exciting. But I just wanted it to slow down in moments so I could catch up with some of the characters. Sasha Calle as Supergirl is fantastic. I absolutely loved her as this character. I think she does a great job. She is a fantastic Supergirl. Unfortunately, I feel like she's one of the characters for me that really kind of was victim to missing a lot of these character moments that I needed to really understand her motivations and her decisions, because I just didn't feel like they were earned. So yeah, Sasha Calle, fantastic as Supergirl, but unfortunately I feel like we were just missing a lot when it comes to her character. Or for me anyway, personally, others might not feel the same way, but for me I just wanted a little bit more. But Sasha Calle as Supergirl is great, and I hope to see her again as this character, because yeah, she was fantastic. So the special effects, the CGI for the most part was pretty good. Like, I really dug a lot of the design around when the Flash does his thing, when he goes into Speed Force and all of that. I kind of really liked a lot of the visuals and the effects. But there were a lot of moments and with CGI, and it looked very CGI, like almost as if it hadn't finished rendering. So I'm not sure if this is because the movie that I watched wasn't quite the final version, but there are a couple of moments, and some of these moments are, you know, they are like sort of fist punching, kind of fucking cheering moments that will make you just grin, and it's cool as fuck. But unfortunately, in these moments at the same time, the CGI looks very CGI. Like I was just looking at it going, oh, I hope that's not the finished product, because yes, what's happening is great, but the CGI doesn't look great. Hopefully that's been fixed when it comes to the worldwide release. But yeah, the CGI for the most part was pretty good, and when it comes to sort of the Flash doing his thing, I really liked the way it looked and sort of some of the design aspect of that. And I really like the humour in this movie as well. When it comes to superhero movies, especially the MCU, I've not been a massive fan of the humour. Here with the Flash, it just worked, and for the first time I laughed out loud a couple of times in a superhero movie. I've never done that before, and I just think it's because one of the reasons is Ezra Miller, as you know, playing these two characters, playing the two different versions of Barry. They do such a great job at playing these two different characters and creating this dynamic. And just there were little things that they would do when it comes to the humour that would be very subtle, like not in your face, oh look at me, I'm being funny kind of humour, which is very much the MCU. But there were a lot of like moments which were kind of just really subtle and small, and they were like, it could be a simple sort of shot of one Barry looking at the other. And I'm not gonna, like I said, this is a spoiler-free review, so I'm trying not to say too much, but there is this one moment where Barry looks at the other Barry in the Batwing, and it's so fucking funny, and it's such a simple shot, but there's a lot of that humour here where it's just not in your face, like, look at me being funny, you know. I fucking can't stand that humour. For me here, and a lot of it I think is down to the writing and just the performance from Ezra Miller, it just really sells that humour, and yeah, it works. And I think they do a really good job at handling the time travel aspect of the story. It could have easily have become very confusing and heavy-handed, but I think the writers do a really good job. I felt like the writing in this movie was quite smart, and for me, The Flash was just a very good time travel movie. Like Batman 89 is a very good revenge film for me personally. The Flash is a very good time travel movie. The score is composed by a Benjamin Walshfish. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Apologies if I've pronounced it incorrectly. But I thought the score was beautiful. It honours previous themes but also does its own thing. It has its own flavour and its own kind of twist, and it is just simply beautiful. And when you've got that classic Elfman theme accompanying some of the action scenes with Michael Keaton's Batman, it is just simply fantastic. Like, it gets the blood pumping, and it put me into a state of euphoria. Like, there are a couple of moments where you've got Michael Keaton doing his thing, and you've got that classic Elfman theme playing in the background, and it is fucking beautiful, and it is great. And like I said, you know, it's not just a rip-off of those other themes. It's its own entity, it's its own thing with its own flavour, and I really like that. So yeah, the movie is quite breezy, and once it gets going, it just keeps going and escalating, and you know, it does. There are moments where I just kind of wanted to slow down so I could catch up with some of the characters. But, you know, when you get the action, it's enjoyable, it's fun, it's exhilarating. There's this one action scene right at the beginning with the Flash, and it's so creative and imaginative and just fun to watch. And it does, you know, it gets to a point where I felt like it gets really chaotic, especially the third act, and to a point where I'm waiting for the film to just fall apart. But it doesn't. It comes together really, really nicely at the end, and you know, this film has got this massive heart right at the middle of its story. This big beating heart when it comes to Barry Allen's story. And, you know, there are moments which I had to fight back tears, because the way in which they handled this story with Barry Allen was beautiful. And I think they did a good job with that story. I just feel like the film does get a little bit too chaotic, but I feel like it's that heart, that big beating heart at the middle that keeps it together. And, you know, along with the performances, especially Ezra Miller, it works. So yeah, The Flash for me was a fun, exhilarating, enjoyable movie with this massive heart at its core that lands those emotional punches when it needs to. Easter eggs galore. One I would say is even a deep cut. There were so many moments that I was just grinning like a fucking Cheshire cat. And, you know, is this a perfect movie? No. Is it one of the greatest superhero movies ever made? No. But it's a pretty damn good film, and it's an enjoyable film, and it's a pretty damn good time travel movie as well. It has all the right ingredients to make it an enjoyable, fun and immersive experience that hits hard emotionally when it needs to, and I like the movie a lot. They are my thoughts on The Flash, and I will be giving The Flash a 7.5 out of 10. So yeah, they are my thoughts on The Flash. Has anyone seen it yet? Has anyone been to these advanced showings? Let me know below. You know, do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know below. And if you've made it this far into the review, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you want to see future reviews from just some Welsh geek ramble on, then please hit the subscribe button. It will mean an awful lot to me. My next review will be for Transformers. I'm really looking forward to checking Transformers out on the weekend. It's one of my anticipated movies of the year along with The Flash, because I just really like the feel, you know, the vibe that I'm getting from the trailers. And if it's anything like Bumblebee, hopefully we're in for another winner year. So yeah, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you guys soon.